Kane County tonight, a Good Samaritan is being credited with detaining a suspect in a deadly home invasion. 83-year-old Roscoe Ebey was killed in his Aurora Township home early this morning. A neighbor heard breaking glass and took action.
When he came close enough, I grabbed him by his hair and pulled him out of the window. We scuffled, for a little bit, and then I pinned him on the ground.
There's no word yet on a motive. Charges in this case could be filed as early as tomorrow.
A deadly home invasion in Aurora Township ends with a neighbor capturing a suspect. Kane County Sheriff's deputies say the suspect tried to break into 2 other homes before entering a 3rd this morning. That's where 83-year-old Roscoe Ebey was killed. Police say they arrested a suspect on the spot after he was captured by neighbor Leslie Fleming. Fleming saw a light in Ebey's basement, looked inside, and saw the suspect.
When he came close enough, I grabbed him by his hair and pulled him out of the window. We scuffled, for a little bit, and then I pinned him on the ground.
Fleming says the man was soaked in gasoline. The victim's son says he believes the attacker intended to torch the home. Neighbors say they know the suspect who lives in the area, and charges are expected to be filed tomorrow.
And charges this noon hour in the vicious, fatal stabbing of an 83-year-old man. The victim was found in his home at Hartford and White Avenue. That's in Aurora Township. WGN's Muriel Claire live in Geneva with details just coming out this noon hour. Hi, Muriel.
Hi, Tom. 31-year-old Hector Maurizio was charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder, and he faces up to 100 years in prison.
Kane County judge has set Mauricio's bail at $6 million. He's currently being held at the Kane County Adult Correction Center.
Early Tuesday morning, Kane County authorities answered a call in the 1100 block of White Avenue in unincorporated Aurora Township. When they arrived on the scene, they found 32-year-old Leslie Fleming holding down Hector Maurizio. Earlier, Fleming had been aroused by noise at the side door of his house. Upon checking, he glanced across the street and he noticed a light on in 83-year-old Roscoe Ebey's garage and went to check it out. Checking further, Fleming found a basement window at Ebey's home was broken. Shining a flashlight into the basement, Fleming found a man crouching in the shadows. He grabbed the man by his hair and pulled him out.
And then I was able to get him out and hold him until the police came there, until the sheriff's department came there.
Kane County Sheriff's deputies would later discover 83-year-old Roscoe Ebey's body inside the house. He had been stabbed multiple times. 31-year-old Hector Maurizio was arrested, questioned, and charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder.
These charges stem from an incident that occurred on May 29, 2007 at approximately 2 a.m. where it's alleged that Mauricio entered Mr. Ebey's home. While inside the home, it's alleged that he stabbed Ebey numerous times.
Ebey, who had lived in the neighborhood for 55 years, was widowed about 10 years ago. Since then, he lived alone. Ebey's neighbors are deeply saddened by the tragic ending to what they say was a well-spent life.
He was a wonderful neighbor. We all thought the world of him.
We're really sad because he was an unusual person.
Well, Kane County authorities said that the man accused of killing Ebey lived in the neighborhood. He just didn't live on the same street. Reporting live from Kane County, Muriel Claire, WGN News.
Thank you.
County judge today set bond at $6 million for an Aurora man charged with killing an elderly neighbor. 83-year-old Roscoe Ebey, a World War II veteran, was found stabbed to death on Tuesday. Investigators credit a Good Samaritan with the suspect's capture.
This was an unfortunate incident, but because of his quick actions and a 911 call that came from his home, we were able to apprehend Mr. Maurizio.
When announcing the charges, Sheriff Patrick Perez made a point of thanking one of the victim's neighbors for his selfless act. Roscoe, who went by Rich Ebey, was stabbed multiple times in his home in the 1100 block of White Avenue Tuesday morning. Ebey had lived here for more than 55 years. Neighbors say Ebey liked to take kids to the park, played baseball with them, and mowed their lawns. He never asked for anything in return. At about 2 a.m. Tuesday, Leslie Fleming, who lives across the street, heard someone open his door. Fleming says he got up and eventually went outside. He saw Ebey's motion detector light come on, heard glass break, and ran toward Ebey's home. The sheriff says Hector Maurizio has a record but did not elaborate. Before this incident, neighbors were in the process of setting up a neighborhood watch program. In Geneva, Judy Wang, CLTV News.
An Aurora man says he did what any good neighbor would do. Others might say he did something really extraordinary. Police tell Darlene Hill he helped catch a murder suspect and may have prevented more violence.
While inside the home, Maurizio it's alleged that he stabbed Ebey numerous times. Area residents heard a commotion, noticed Maurizio in the area of Ebey's residence and confronted him.
Leslie Fleming says he heard glass break and he went next door to check on things. He saw a motion light on at Ebey's house and the suspect still inside. Fleming says he reached out and grabbed the suspect's hair.
He was down there. He was in a basement. I was up on ground level. So as soon as he was close enough, that's the only part of him that I could reach.
Fleming held on to the suspect while another neighbor called 911. They say Ebey had always been a good neighbor. Even after his wife died 10 years ago, he was still able to play ball with the kids on the block and cut grass for other senior citizens. This time, Fleming says he thought he was helping Ebey, but he was too late.
I went to go wake him up after the police officer had the guy in custody, and the guy just said, I killed him.
Police say a couple of homes were broken into overnight in the same area. Now neighbors are trying to put together a watch group to help keep everyone else safe. Darlene Hill, Fox News, Chicago.
33-year-old Leslie Fleming of Aurora was honored as the Citizen of the Year today by the Kane County Sheriff's Office. Last May, Fleming helped capture the man accused of killing his 83-year-old neighbor. Tonight, ABC 7's Harry Porterfield takes another look at Fleming's heroic actions and today's award ceremony.
We had already begun the process of doing an award.
Today, 32-year-old Leslie Fleming was honored as a hero for his bravery in subduing a murder suspect in his Aurora Township neighborhood. The presentation was made by Kane County Sheriff Pat Perez.
Your bravery in apprehending an accused murder suspect has earned you the respect and appreciation of our community. Leslie.
Armed with only a flashlight, Fleming confronted a murder suspect in the home of his victim, 83-year-old Roscoe Ebey, and dragged the intruder out by his hair.
But even a peace officer might be hesitant to go in after a suspect.
I think, yes. In some cases, they may, get on the radio and surround the house and set up a perimeter until backup arrives. And the last thing on Leslie Fleming's mind was backup. The first thing was coming to the aid of a neighbor.
He's 83 years old. Even if I did get hurt, I'd stand a better chance than, my elderly neighbors, in that. So who wouldn't put themselves, in that position?
Ebey was considered the neighborhood's Good Samaritan. His family was represented by his son, Richard.
My family thought of some ways that we can thank this gentleman, but, thank you, I guess, is the best we can do, and hope this is something that he never has to do again. But talking to Leslie, he probably wouldn't even take a second chance. He'd probably do it again if he had to.
In addition to his being honored for bravery, Fleming's name became the first on a Citizen of the Year award, established by the sheriff in memory of Roscoe Ebey. In Geneva, Harry Porterfield, ABC 7 News.